Hey, do you guys remember when Megan FaceTimed me while we were podcasting 35 minutes ago?
Seemed like it was so long
You remember
ago.
that? So let me give some backstory because Megan's mortified that happened. Megan texted me and she said, sorry, I wasn't thinking. And I sent back, babe, that just made it into our spiritual show on the summer, Scattered Abroad podcast that we're recording. And she goes, no. And I said, yes, but it'll also make that really happen. Don't worry. And she said, well, we were just wanting to say hi, her and the kids. And I wasn't thinking. I said, well, you're exhausted. I understand. And she said, who's the guest, if you don't mind me asking? And I said, Jeff Archey. And she sent back an emoji for hiding her face. And so Megan, right now, we're trying to save up for a house. And so we're hustling and bustling as best we can. And Megan is a superwoman. She is working nights as well as still working her other job to try to help us get there closer. But she has worked a night shift the last 2 nights and is going to be staying up all day today because unfortunately, just the way that it worked out, we weren't able to secure our childcare for today. They had something they needed to be doing, and that's totally understandable. But that means Megan is now on mom duty. After working a 12-hour shift as a nurse, she's now going to work a 12-hour shift until I get home, basically. And so she said, just so you know, I am going to Dutch Bros this morning. And so I just wanted to go on record first off and say, I love my wife. She's amazing. And even though you interrupted our spiritual show, God will forgive you.
So all the kids are getting Dutch Bros. Is that what she said?
Probably. That's great. That's what we need.
So this is really happening.
It's really happening.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm grateful. And I wanted to tell this because I must not have told it. I don't think the time that you were here, the first time you were ever on the show with us in 2021, the youth day that you invited me to be on.
Mm-hmm.
This is the camera on me, Adam? Okay, good. Robert Hatfield, this is for you. Okay. You may not even watch this, but I hope someone shares this with Robert Hatfield because we have an eternal beef on this side of eternity. I was not a preacher yet. I mean, I'd been doing some, devotionals and different things like that, but I had not gone through school, and Robert had been trained. He was, clearly he was a minister. Mm-hmm. And so I had told, my mom and dad, I said, I'll just probably not even do a PowerPoint. I don't know how to do all that kind of stuff. And it was very clear that I needed to learn that skill. And so I thought it's a youth day. I mean, how bad could it get, right? Well, Robert Hatfield decided he was going to do a PowerPoint. And I talked about this when Robert was on the show, but I've never talked about it with you. I will never forget sitting there and watching the PowerPoint and being mortified the entire time. Like, this is so well put together and it's so good. Like the theme was Mythbusters. And so he would put a myth on the screen and then he would bust the myth. And when he would say that the point was moving on to the next one, you go, that myth, and he put it back on the screen is busted, and it would explode with the transition into like tiny pieces of dust. And I'm sitting there going, oh boy, this is not going to go well for me because I have 5 pages of notes. That's it. And so I've always teased Robert. I said, you knew that I was coming. And I said, it's kind of like the man at the end of the parable of the talents. I knew you to be a hard man. I said, you knew I didn't know how to do all that stuff and you still did it. And so Robert and I, we love to tease each other about that, but I don't think I've ever talked about it with you specifically, Yeah. But that was a time. That was a fun day though. I enjoyed it. Yeah. And I would have loved to have gone back now and have a second crack at the lesson. But I think all of us could say that about things we've been assigned before.
Well, see, there was a strategy. Robert used the PowerPoint. Your presentation was different and unique, but they both were spiritual and scriptural. And so a lot of times I do gospel meetings where, Jeff, are you going to bring a PowerPoint? I said, I wouldn't do that to you. Yeah. Because their preacher uses PowerPoint all the time. It's a break. People's attention's a little different. Worked out good.
So you're saying I did better than Robert?
Yeah, I'll say that.
Okay,
sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Clip that.
Yeah, I'll say that.
That will be in the new loop.
I tell you what, we're talking about, did that really happen?
Yeah.
I'll tell you something. The next day, if I recall, you preached at Eastside that next day.
That's right.
And you had several good friends around the Cleveland, Tennessee area. Yeah. And among them was Garrett Haken.
Yes.
And Garrett is now preaching in Arkansas, I believe, doing a great work. But I was going through the attendance cards the next day. And of course, we had blue for visitors. And Garrett had filled out a card and wrote down what congregation. And he wrote down Union Grove Baptist Church. Not the Union Grove Church of Christ where he attended out in the county.
Hilarious.
Well, I busted out laughing. I lost it. Well, somehow it got back to Chris and Beth, his mom and dad. And let's say they didn't find it as funny, but I will see Garrett to this day if he comes home with the family, and I'll see him and I'll say, well, how are things at the Baptist church? And he just, now he's older. He's more like Chris, has that serious side to him.
Yeah.
He just like, Jeff, I wish you would forget that, But that was a lot of fun.
Oh,
So
yes.
yeah, that really happened.
It did.
Yeah, it did.
And as we're talking about did that really happen today, I'm going to address you now for the first time. Wink, wink. This is Jeff Archey with me, and this is Wayne, Captain Calm Down Rogers. And so we're excited to have a chance to talk and spend some time sharing some stories. Wayne, do you have any stories? Stop trying to look at the list, man. Every episode, I catch you. You're trying to read this.
The story is this. My name has been run through chat.
Yeah.
It has been washed, filtered, and added to.
Work smarter, not harder.
In such a way that I can only imagine. So, yes.
Do you
I
ever
know
tell
there's
me
a
to calm
list.
down?
Absolutely.
All the time.
Because you need to,
Yeah.
probably.
That's why you're Captain Calm Down. That's your superhero name.
I do have a story.
Go.
Well, this is
No,
probably,
like leave.
This is all right, I'm out. And filling in for me, Brittany Suttles.
So you've got a story. I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
I'll stop.
All right. So years ago, this is young love at its best, maybe, young married love. We are in our first couple years of marriage, Cindy and I, and I'm not a great gift giver. She would probably conclude never have been. Maybe one day I'll grow up and be better at it. I'm working on it. But back then I was really bad. And so these are some bad gift ideas that I just thought I'd throw out. So Chris, my oldest, was about 3 years old. And so it's finally time to get him involved in the Mother's Day, right? Gift giving, The first 2 years, I probably just went and got something. And those were probably decent gifts. This time I'm getting Chris involved. And there was a roadside stand. So this is not going well immediately. Roadside stand that had flowers and all of this. And speaking of people calling, this is my younger. But anyway, Matthew's calling. So he's did that really happen too?
Yeah.
So a day, maybe you'll get a phone call, Jeff. I don't know.
No, face down.
Face down.
Face down. I'm busy. I'll be there later.
So I pulled to this roadside stand, get Chris out. They've got flowers and maybe some other things, and it was just for Mother's Day. And this is in a little town in South Georgia. This was down in Homerville.
Right.
And so anyway, I pull over, we get out, get Chris out, and we're just walking up and, just looking at some of the different things they had. And there's a bunch of different flowers. And, I'm like, Chris, do you see anything that you think your mom would like? Just trying to get, if he says something, I'm like, that's what we're out, this is going to be easy. Right. And so he picks the multicolored tulips that were there, not a normal looking tulip color or anything like that. And these are fake, but he chose it. I buy it. And so now on Mother's Day, when she got there and, we made sure they were on the table and we got up and we made breakfast that morning. We did all the other things right. She sees the flowers and assumes that I've just went and bought these flowers, but Chris picked out these flowers. Uh-huh. They just were probably some of the ugliest tulips that you've ever seen. And the look on her face, priceless, wonderful. But to this day, she reminds me of the ugliest tulips that I've ever bought for her. I said, but Chris picked them out. It doesn't matter. You were teaching him bad things to begin with. You should have helped him, do something better.
And you admitted you're not the gift giver.
Right.
So you're trying to train this young man into giving gifts.
Yeah.
Now, Wayne, in Tennessee, we call that sending a mule to do the job of a racehorse.
He was set up for a fall to begin with. That's all I can say. Okay?
I love it. That's great.
A couple of other good gifts. we'll say jokingly, that I've bought through the years, not just, this was not the only gift, but sometimes you're just going through. Now Michael's a good gift giver. He does a great job at this.
Thanks, Wayne.
We were going through, see, I'm nice to you, man. We were going through, and this was probably, again, I probably had both boys with me at this point in time, or at least had Chris with me. And we were going through probably Walmart or somewhere, just trying to buy some last minute gifts. Cause Cindy will readily admit that I wait to the last minute to buy gifts. And so that's probably not, that's where I go wrong to begin with. And so, you're grabbing things at the last minute, because you want her to be able to open up several different gifts, well, somehow the first gift she opens at Christmas, I have purchased for the countertop in the kitchen, a banana hanger. Literally to hang bananas on. Okay.
Yeah.
And that you would just sit over in the corner. And so, that was the first gift she opened. So she's just knows, I'm hoping that she's going to realize it will get better.
Right.
But she just thinks in her mind, because of my track record, it's going to get worse, anyway. So,
see, women,
I just like to admit, go on record, I'm not good at it.
Women do a better job though than men do at numbering gifts. Like at Christmas time, my mom is like the literal label, queen, because we'll be trying to open gifts with all the family, and then she'll hand Adam this gift, and then she goes, "Now you can't open that one yet. You have 17 other gifts first." So we need, and I'm like, when you're giving it to an 8-year-old, all he wants to do is open it. But my mom, she loves doing that, but she'll have them labeled. We don't think to do that. Like you say that the banana hanger was not the best that it was going to get.
That was an extra thing.
And so that's the kind of thing where it's like, if we were smarter than we would go, this is number one, but they build in progressive order, sweetie. But none of us are ever going to think to say that. That's never the first thought on our mind. Man. Yeah, we're just like, open.
Look, I got them wrapped, okay? I thought I did good getting them wrapped,
How do you wrap a banana hanger?
Very carefully, man.
Was it in the bag?
Poor younger generation. How long am I to be with you?
At least 15 more minutes.
We'll do what we can, man.
Go ahead, Jeff. I know you got some good ones.
Oh, man. Well, one was just reminded of course, we're grateful for the good folks here at House to House, Heart to Heart, and Adam Bond, who's our great producer, who also produces our broadcast with International Gospel Hour. And Adam brought one to mind just moments ago, but I was doing a broadcast and I kept using the word, I was talking about how a chameleon changes. And I was talking about that in the context of the study. And I kept saying the word charlatan, charlatan. And finally we took a break, and Carrie, who helps me with the teleprompter, helps me along the way. He said, "Jeff, do you mean chameleon?" And I stopped and looked, and I knew I had blown it. So I just came back on the air and said, "Folks, I'm grateful for some help here." Mm-hmm. And so it's funny because you wonder about the people thinking, what is he talking about? Or, and so.
Well, sometimes charlatans change their color, right?
That's what I thought and everything. And little things like that, you say, did that really happen? Yeah, there's a lot of things that happened that really did. Now, Michael, we did this one time, and if folks want to go back in the archives, on July the 7th, 2021, when we aired Did That Really Happen? And this is a program that I did with you and Caleb Rutherford, who is doing a great work out in Texas. And speaking of Texas, one of the stories I told there that people can go back and hear, and then hear other stories, because we're going to give you some new stuff today. So I'll tell this rather quickly. I've told it long. I've told it short. I've told it on Nashville radio. I've shared it at a wedding. I was doing a ceremony, and you know how that during the lighting of the unity candle, or now the weaving of the ropes or whatever, I tell couples, if you're going to put a song in there, you've got to time it just right. So you're not standing there and we're all listening to a song, because that'll make that 3 minutes more like 5. So I'd worked it out with this couple. Well, the guy sang the George Strait song, "I Crossed My Heart and Promised To," while they were lighting the unity candle. He timed it perfectly. You couldn't have asked for better lighting, timing, and everything. When he was done, I went to conclude the ceremony, but the old boy forgot to cut his karaoke box off. And the very next song that came on, it started off, and right there in Nashville, we knew what the song was. It was All My Exes Live in Texas. I mean, man, you could have taken the roof off that building because we all knew what the song was. The poor guy was embarrassed, and the bride looked at me and said, Jeff, just start over. So, and I told that at Polishing the Pulpit. And I have a lot of fun at Polishing the Pulpit. I do the MC work, as you guys know, and have good help with Jeff Johnson, who helps me now with the MC work. But sometimes you've got to keep things a little light and all, and you look for the moment. There was one year, talk was, are we moving Polishing the Pulpit? It was just the talk that, we're outgrowing the convention center. Are we moving Polishing the Pulpit? So I got up and MC and I said, folks, let's just address this issue. There are a lot of comments are saying, are we moving Polishing the Pulpit? Look, folks, you just go where we tell you to go. Every year we book it, but I can make this announcement. The elders at Jacksonville have just purchased the city of Gatlinburg. People looked up, man. I said, folks, I'm kidding. Don't start going out there on Twitter. Don't start anything. I'm kidding. And then there was another year, Buc-ee's opened down at the end of, as you get off the exit to Sevierville 407. Of course, huge Buc-ee's. Yeah. Everybody's, Buc-ee's. So one Saturday, I said, folks, I've got a special announcement about Cindy Colley's sessions. We're running into some issues with space. We want you to know that Cindy Colley's sessions have been relocated to the Buc-ee's down at the exit between pumps 13 and 19. It's going to be at Buc-ee's. You can have brisket with Mammy.
Nice.
And then I said, wait a minute. I said, I know I saw 3 wives look at their husbands and say, you've got to run me down there.
Yeah, we got to be down there.
But the moments at PTP have been classics. I owe this one to Furman Carpenter. Furman told this, and you guys might remember, I don't know if you were there that night, the first time we tried a Wednesday night, it was kind of like, did that really happen? And there were 5 of us. There was myself, Furman Carpenter, Larry Acuff, Clark Sims, and Dan Winkler, whom when I introduced everybody, I introduced him as Jody Apple. And so this was a session we'd never done before, but last night, 8 o'clock, the ballroom was full and just a kind of lighthearted session. Well, Furman Carpenter does a great work. He's an elder in the church out in Round Rock, Texas, preached there for a number of years, just does a great job. Well, Furman told the story of a funeral he was called upon to conduct. And the guy that died was a biker. And he said, man, there were bikers all over that funeral home. He said, there were bikes all through the parking lot. He said, the young man's mother was so overcome with grief that she crawled on the floor toward the casket. He said, it was a tough moment that you want to make this funeral brief, get them through it. And Furman didn't know the deceased. He was trying to help the funeral home out and help out the situation. Furman's about to wrap up, and the funeral director in the back kind of waves, go on, keep going. So Furman backs up, fills in what he can. He's about to wind up. Funeral director from the back waves his hand, keep going. Furman's thinking, what's going on? So, Furman's sharp. I mean, he knows how he can blend something in a little more. And about that third time, the guy's waving, go on. Well, Furman goes, and finally the guy goes, waves his hand like that's enough. Furman stops it. Well, that's never happened before. That's never happened to me in a funeral, or probably to you guys. No. Well, afterward, Furman asked him, he said, I knew the director. I said, man, what are you doing? What was going on? He said, Furman, I'm sorry. He said, but the Texas state troopers were out in the parking lot running tags on every bike, and they weren't done in time. True story.
I think I remember hearing Furman tell that.
Furman tells it. It is just great, but true story. I mean,
that's great.
Let's move from funerals to hearses. I moved to Cleveland, Tennessee, end of 2002. It was early 2003. Bless his heart, he's passed on now. Jim Gold called me one day. Jim worked for a local funeral home. He said, "Preacher, I got a favor to ask you. Do you have some time to ride with me over to the town of Benton? I need to bring back a hearse to Cleveland." I said, "Well, Jim, can I ask you a question? Do I need a chauffeur's license to drive it?" He said, No, there'll be nobody back there. You're all right. So it gives me a chance to spend time with Jim, who became one of my dearest friends, and gave me a time to ride over to the town of Benton and try to learn the area. And so he tells me, he said, "Okay, follow me back to the funeral home." And so I'm driving this hearse. Well, while I'm driving the hearse, I called Renita. And I said, "I've told you there's a lot of first for me in this, my first full-time work." I said, "Here's another first. I'm driving a hearse." Renita said, "Is there anybody back there?" I said, "No, baby, I'm by myself. I assure you, I'm by myself." So, but yep, the things that, did that really happen? These are things that really happened, and just, so many more things. And sometimes you just have to laugh.
Yeah.
Some moments happen that you've just got to take time to laugh, especially when you're preaching. Yeah. The congregations have got to sometimes laugh with you.
Mm-hmm.
Eastside Church of Christ in Cleveland has what we would call the old-fashioned, built in the 60s, long auditorium, 2 sections, but it's long. And, with the girders extended, built like most buildings in the 60s. Well, I was preaching one Sunday night, and a little fellow by the name of Jared stepped out of the pew and came running down the side aisle. And he was running full force to the door going into the baptistry. He was trying to open that door. His grandmother was trying to get up, and he needed to go to the restroom. She was trying to get up, but he moved so fast. Well, she was trying to get up out of the pew. She was trying to pick up a purse. She was trying to grab something else. And it took her forever to get down there to get him to step out the side door. And I mean, he was working that door with all he had. Well, when she finally got him and took him out, I looked at the congregation and I could tell they are about to lose it. And so I was about to lose it. And so all I did was lose it. I broke out laughing. I said, "Folks, I'm so sorry. That's a first." And everybody laughed because that little fellow was trying, and the door was latched at the top. We do that for safety for children. And he was trying to get in that door and he couldn't do it. And then when we found out later why, it just, those moments that, I think Brother Holland put it best, Brother Tom Holland, why is it so funny when you shouldn't be laughing?
Yeah.
And that is so true. So these are things that really did happen.
Yeah. Tell him, because I think it's best if you tell him about when we were going to Pizza Bros last year at the Spiritual Sword Lectureship and what I did.
Pizza Bros in Chattanooga.
Yes.
Oh, good. We need the tax money.
That is a great pizza place, by the way. Not a sponsor, but an amazing pizza place.
And listen,
good pizza
if you need to know places to go in Chattanooga during Spiritual Sword, your what am I looking at? Who works in the hotels? The
concierge.
Yes.
Yeah, the concierge of restaurants in Chattanooga is our Adam Vaughn. He knows the places, always. Memphis, he knows them.
Yes.
South Haven, he knows them. Chattanooga too. Go with it, Wayne.
So Pizza Bros, we're headed to we're following behind
Adam Vaughn.
No, we're following this guy right
We
here.
were technically not, we weren't officially racing because that would be illegal, but we were saying whoever gets there first will get a table. We had a large party going.
Yeah, and also I think it's a 2 left lanes turning.
Yes.
Kind of, it's a big intersection right there turning in. And so and I don't know if I had been there before at this point in time. I can't even remember, but so we're pulling up and Michael pulls up. He's in that left hand lane, and I'm in the right hand, but we're both turning left right there. And so, and he might be edged just a little bit ahead of me or whatever, but the people in front of me, they're taking their time. There may have been one car in front of me.
Maybe.
And, but they were taking their time, which was what was funny, because had they actually gone, you probably wouldn't have done what you did. You would have seen a little bit better. And so it's a big intersection. So it's some of those big intersections, especially at night, it's hard to see. So I'd give our brother a little bit of a doubt, but he goes off into the wrong he goes into oncoming traffic. and there's traffic coming at him. And it's 2 lanes, maybe 3 lanes because
As
there's
if
a
we
turn
don't
lane.
have enough problems in Chattanooga.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you wonder why we're backed up in Chattanooga? Michael Clark.
It was like a
he's
Fast
going
and
the
Furious
wrong
movie.
way.
I was
buddy.
weaving
He literally
to get out of cars.
He decided he's not stopping. He's just going to keep going. Eventually, there will be a median where he can cut over into
Yeah.
Pizza Bros. You know, he's hoping, I'm sure, at this point. But he must have passed 4 or 5 cars that he had to just literally weave in and out of. And it was tremendous. And Cindy said, what is he trying? Does he have a death wish? Is he trying to kill himself?
remember-
We're both just looking.
It was my birthday.
That is right. I forgot about that.
And the reason I was rushing so much was Pizza Bros closes at 10, and we were worried because it was 9:10,
Uh-huh.
and we
Right.
had a 20-member party. We were like, we don't even know if they'll seat us. And so we were all trying to get there, and I was in my Tacoma, and that week I began the process of trading that Tacoma into a Tundra.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so
I think the deal had already been made,
Yes.
actually.
And I've been telling Wayne, I just can't get in an accident. That's all. I have 3 more trips to make. I just can't get in an accident. And so I'm thinking, okay, they're caught behind this, person. I'm going to whip in to the spot and immediately run in and tell them, we've got 20 people. Can you take us?
By the way, we still beat him into the parking lot. And
Well,
got
I
parked.
had to play pinball basically.
It doesn't matter. I won.
It kind of should.
I won.
Yeah,
That's all
well,
I'm
I
saying.
lived, so I'm okay with that.
Oh, how
But-
long am I to be with you people?
A minute and 53. So I whip around all of the traffic, get into the spot, and we get out, and I'm like, the heart is just completely pounding out of my
Yes.
chest.
Yes.
And Wayne gets out and goes, "What are you doing, buddy? Like, what is wrong with you?" And so that had happened. But then I wanted to say this because I thought it was funny, and I think maybe you can relate to this sometimes in life. But I was at a McDonald's, and there was a guy that was trying to slide behind the McDonald's order area. I don't know why he was trying to slide. Maybe he thought it would be efficient, but he was trying to slide behind that order area.
You're talking about
Inside the
Okay.
McDonald's. I mean, inside where, and if there's ever a place that I don't want to, roller skate or try to pretend to skate, it'd be a McDonald's.
Slip sliding in the kitchen area
kitchen
of
area,
McDonald's would make sense probably. But
That is what he nearly did. He almost, fell. And I'm trying because I struggle, with not laughing at situations like that. So I'm stifling a laugh. He looks right at me and he goes, "That didn't happen." Oh, but it did. And did that really? It absolutely did. And so that was one of those that made me laugh because we've all been there. We've all slipped or tripped and thought, no, nobody saw that. Nobody saw that. And so that is something that, we always enjoy getting to do this program. Wayne has been here today. Wayne is also known as the Brakes on My Imagination. And Brother Jeff, thank you for being here today.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
We'll look forward to next Thursday where we'll close out another season of Did That Really Happen? Till then, take care.